Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper and today I'll be doing my top 5 favourite tracks from Wave 5 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, as of time of recording, Wave 5 has recently been released, and after playing through the tracks a couple of times, the tracks have been released recently. Are probably some of my fun. That's some of probably the most fun tracks I've played upon because they all feel, because even though they are from old games, apart from one of them, I think Squeaky Clean Sprint, which is a whole new track of itself. I do enjoy how I just enjoy it. I really enjoy just playing through all of these tracks and just getting to experience old tracks in a new way. And I feel like that's the same thing for like when it comes to the other tracks from the previous waves, because each track feels awesome to play around in because they all have had that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe makeover, and they all have had new parts and stuff that they didn't have in when they were in the original game. So for this video, I'll just be going over some of my favourites that have come out of this particular track, or particular wave, that is. For number 5 is Cooper Cape. It's Cooper Cape, I think. And with this track, I do enjoy, I think because it's all kind of like water based, or some parts of it are water based, and I do like how it starts you off in a mountain part, and then it slowly goes in more water based. I think around the halfway point, you start to go across some water areas and going past, Cooper shelves and stuff like that. And then towards the end, you fully go under the water, and that's really fun. And I do enjoy. I think the transition from going across the water into under the water is really fun because you can go off this ramp and then you go into a pipe that makes you go into a tunnel that's under the water. That's really fun, and plus it uses anti-gravity because anti-gravity is a thing in Mario Kart 8, and I just really enjoy how it just keeps the whole anti-gravity thing in mind and just has it when it needs to be. And yeah, I do really enjoy, like, you can do trick shots off some of the railings, even under the water you can do some trick shots, or trick jumps, or tricks or whatever. And yeah, it's just I think it's just one of those tracks that's really fun to have a fun time in. I think it's just really cool to play around in, just to have some fun and stuff like that. For number 4 is Vancouver Velocity. Now with this track, I think it's one of my favourite winter themed tracks because it feels very peaceful in a sort of sense, where when you compare it to like other tracks like Bowser's Castle or Rainbow Road, that can be quite chaotic even though it's on a peaceful thing or peaceful type track. But with Vancouver Velocity, it just feels peaceful, and even though yes, you do go through the track on carts and bikes and stuff like that, it just feels really fun and really peaceful just to race across. And I do like how you can use the some parts of the track to your advantage. For instance, there's a bit I think at the beginning where you have to go through these bridges, and I think they are quite narrow. But if you want to trip up enemies or trip up your opponents, you can use stuff like the banana skins and the shells to your advantage, because you could either throw the green shells or red shells behind you, depending on which one you have behind you, and then your enemies or your opponents will have to try and dodge them, but there'll probably always be one that gets hit, and that's really fun. And I think I do like the halfway stage, I think, with the arena where you have to go in two different directions on two separate laps. That's really fun. And yeah, when it comes to the tall tracks. I think it's a really fun and probably one of my favourite ones to come out of Tour. For number 3 is Daisy Cruiser. Now, this is, out of all of the tracks we've seen in Wave 5, this is probably the most simplest one. It's just, you're on a boat, and that's it. But I think that's what makes it fun, just because you can go off into various paths. So in the start, there are 2 splitting pathways that connect, and then there's one way, and I think towards the halfway stage, there's a bit where you can either go underneath into some sort of tank area, and another way you can just keep on going across the cruiser itself. And yeah, that's really fun because like you can really do more stuff, like throwing more shells, throwing a banana skin, that kind of thing, and just doing really cool stuff. And I do like how in the dining area, both the items and the tables, along with the chairs, move from side to side. That's really cool and adds some more obstacles to the stage as a whole. And I think it's just a really fun course to go on. For number 2 is Los Angeles Laps. Now, I think this is a really fun one because this is, again with Vancouver Velocity, this is a really fun tour track because I do like how you start off on a beach and then towards the end you go into these like mining areas or something like that, and this is one that's kind of like, it's kind of like a tour track, but it's kind of like one of those long tracks, like the Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 64 tracks, in the sense that you don't go across the same flag twice or 3 times, and you have to go through other parts of the map to do the second and third laps. Those kind of cool to see, like a tour track and a long track combined in a sort of sense, and that's really fun. And I think that's ingenious because I didn't even know that I had already finished the track until I had already finished the third lap. I was like, oh, it's done? Oh, okay. I was having so much fun, I didn't know I had already finished. And I think that's what makes this track really one of my favourites, because it's so much fun that you don't know that you've already finished the whole map until you're done. And yeah, I think it's just one of those interesting tracks from Tour that is really fun to have fun in and just play around in. So yeah. And for number 1 is Squeaky Clean Sprint. Now, this is the new track that was introduced into the game, and as a new track, it's really fun because it's one of those things that you don't really expect to see in a Mario Kart game, in the sense that it's all in a human. It's basically what people use every day, that being a bathroom, and you not only go through like the bathtub, but also the toilets where you can like do a trick shot to get to a vantage gliding area, as well as the drain, the wash bowl, the wash area. I'm just going to call it the wash area. But it's really cool, and I do enjoy the whole like different things you can see that's Mario themed. So you can see the superstars on the towel, not the towel. I'm just gonna call it a curtain. A curtain, I think it's called a curtain. You can also see bloopers, like just hanging from the shower, and a rubber duck wearing a Mario hat, and that's really fun just to see and just to look at whenever you're going past a particular area of the map. And I think it's just really cool, and I feel like around the halfway point you just go into when you're in the bath part of the track, you just go into the drain, because that's that's weird but also cool, because you don't really see that sort of stuff in the other tracks in the previous waves or in the main game, because it's just, oh, you just go across this, Rainbow Road area or a track that's all in the mountain areas. But for Squeaky Clean Sprint, you just go into various parts of an everyday bathroom, and that's really fun, really cool. And I think it's a really cool out of all the new tracks that we've seen from the previous waves, including this one. It's really, really fun, and it's probably one of my favourites. So that's been my top 5 favourite tracks from Wave 5. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.